Okay, so we are going to dissect a classic album, an album that I think is very, very of the times right now because of what we've been going through in this country. We did To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. I mean, shit, it's also fitting because Kendrick is having one of his biggest years in a while.
Yep.
In terms of just awards and everything like that. So I don't know what hasn't already been said about this project.
Yeah.
I think that this is one that there's not really much back and forth or debate we can really do. This is not only a classic within Kendrick's career, but a classic album. Just like, this is a top 5 rap album ever.
Easily. It's one of the albums that breaks through genre. Yeah. We can just call this one of the best albums ever.
Literally.
Because I will go as far as saying, to me, it is the best album ever. And without a doubt, the best hip hop album ever. I know that might not be a consensus opinion. I know a lot of people even don't think it's the best in his discography, but I think that's what makes him so great.
How is this? I don't get that though. How is this not the best thing Kendrick's ever done?
I don't know. I mean, I understand the case for Good Kid, Mad City.
I understand.
This is made for fans like us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like, when this came out, I didn't understand it.
But
in 2015, I would have told you it wasn't as strong as Good Kid, Mad City when I was 15 years old. You know?
Yeah, it's not the easiest listen. I don't even think I really loved it when it first came out, because really the only record that I think even liked at the time was what was the lead single, I?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I get this, but then the rest of the project I heard and I was like, this man being, mad political and shit. Oh, King Kunta, I always loved that song too.
Yeah.
But it was just like not an easy listen, and I think it's aged extremely well, especially as I've gotten older. I can actually like sit down and listen to these topics.
I guess that for me, I did grow up on a lot of jazz music, so I always kind of like enjoyed that part of the production. But then like, this is some of Kendrick's best rapping. I think when you get to songs like Complexion, they're singing, Institutionalized, like there's snippets of songs that I wish were full songs all over this and scattered throughout the music videos.
Yeah.
I think getting the visualizers with all this, like, I mean, I can like just kind of like jumping forward in the conversation like a little bit. Like there's songs that I fall in love with more and more as the years pass. Like I didn't know how much I loved You until like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm listening to it again, or like even like 2 or 3 years ago, I'm listening to it in the second half.
Yeah.
That second half is, the first half is a lot to listen to. It's a little theatrical. It's much, but the second half of that,
yeah.
Oh my God, I've fallen in love with that. It's almost like humorous at points, you know what I mean? Like with like the skit at the beginning with his girl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This album has always kind of felt different to me ever since the first time I heard it. It from even the cover art is so intense. Yeah. And then you hear a song like Blacker the Berry, and I 100% agree with you. Like when I first heard it as a kid, I definitely didn't understand the full scope of it, but it almost brought up feelings I had within me that I didn't fully understand. Because it's like the rage that you feel from when Kendrick is talking on that song, Blacker the Berry, like that's a feeling that I think like a lot of, especially young black kids, like we may not, like that's generational trauma. You know what I mean? Like that's shit that like he's articulating in once again a way that we can't even comprehend fully, but like he was evoking so much emotion even through his delivery. This is a masterclass in every rap in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone has ever done concept albums better than Kendrick Lamar. And this is the most unique like stringing of a concept album with the like the reoccurring poem after each song. Mm-hmm. You know, just conceptually, I always thought that was so cool. And even when I didn't understand the overall themes of the album when I was a kid, I really like gravitated towards that literary device because it was fun to watch that like unfold throughout the whole album, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think he became my favorite rapper at the time with this. I think I've listened to this album more than I've ever listened to any other album.
Yeah.
Like just play this over and over again because there was so much to unpack through every single listen. I think this is where he kind of separated from the pack too, with the Pulitzer Prize, with once again having such like this was edgy. Mm-hmm. This isn't like, you know, something that you could easily get off, and then following up with Untitled Unmastered, which is a continuation of this era, the Grammy performances where he's in chains, even the SNL performance, how he was doing the thing with like half natural hair, half the braids. Like this was a whole thing that felt like, I don't even want to fully say like it was a celebration of blackness, but it was also like very, it was militant. It felt at times, you know. I really, really think that he had the baton and he could have went any way with it. I think everyone respected Kendrick before this album, but I think when he dropped a project like this that was saying what this said, it was him staking claim as, no, I'm not just trying to be the best right now. I'm trying to make a historical impact.
I think that song was relatable on first like more commercial level, but also too, I think the message was important at the time.
Oh, I love that song.
In terms of like, I just took it as like surface level, like you don't gotta try and be somebody you're not to fit in. Yeah. And I think that like kind of translates into Kendrick's overall message at the beginning of his career, where he was conflicted between like, you know, literally being like a good kid and trying to be like on a straight path, and then obviously all the street shit that's happening around him. Like, I feel like this song also perfectly encompasses that feeling. And then there's deeper levels to it. Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm like, could this even be a diss record? Or is it too early?
I don't think. I see what you're saying, but I think there's a bigger message with all of that.
I think there's a bigger message, but I wouldn't even be that surprised if it was.
I think the real diss is on King Kunta. When he's talking about how niggas sharing bars and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a diss.
That was a diss.
The one that always got me off this was These Walls.
Yeah, me too.
I got that one first. Like,
that was the first one that I was like, wow, this dude's different.
This is vibey. This is wavy. You know what I mean? The jail and like pussy metaphor is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like he was really not baby in the listener.
Not at all. It took me a bunch of listens to figure out what this song is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't get it the first time I heard it.
He wasn't really, but it still sounded good.
Oh, it sounded great. I loved it off rip. But then when I realized, it was like a whole epiphany, and I'm like, wow, thank you for not holding my hand or like dropping a bar at the end that made this super obvious. Thank you for letting me reach this on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Mortal Man is like maybe the best ending he could have had for something like this.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't appreciate that off first listen. That's one that took me a lot of times to go into. How Much a Dollar Cost took a year or two before I really, really like fell in love with that song how I do now.
I think that's always been my favorite song off this project.
Yeah.
I've always loved How Much a Dollar Cost. And it's that horn. You know what I mean? It's really the instrumental on that. There's a flip of that beat on the new Absol album.
My mom likes that song.
She does?
I mean, it's just God. It's like it's a biblical song, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think Kendrick does that in a really cool way. Wesley's Theory, perfect intro.
Yep.
Like perfect intro for this, bro. I hate that I don't know the original sample that starts it off, but yeah, I loved how he just came in on 10 because that's a palatable song to me too.
Yeah, me too. That's one of the easiest ones for me to put on.
Exactly, but of course, even though it's a palatable song, I'm gonna start with Every Nigga Is a Star. Like that's hard, bro. Starting your album like that is crazy. Once again, I really can't. I love the album cover. This is one of my favorite album covers of all time.
Me too.
I think this is like, this is great. This is a great project.
To me, this album feels like a culmination of all of the music before it in the best way.
Wow.
Specifically black music. Like I haven't seen a project that so well encompasses and includes everything that predated it and all of the proper evolutions into one modern body of work that plays in today's atmosphere. And I think it starts with what Jay Dilla did to hip hop, because it seems like Jay Dilla kind of breathed the soul into it by bringing Dilla Time, which is more of a rhythmic thing picked up from jazz. And then the descendants of Dilla are Robert Glasper, you know what I mean? Terrence Martin.
But then what about George Clinton?
Yeah. Like an influence of Dilla. Like,
you know what I mean?
I feel
like it starts with him. I feel like he was the root.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Dilla
or Miles Davis.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like it could definitely start in the 50s. But like for hip hop, I think that was the entry point. And I didn't realize Jay Dilla's influence on this project until I was really digging into him. You know what I mean? And of course that's a through line because Jay Dilla's parents were jazz musicians. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It's the best album ever to me.
It's up there. It's definitely, I'd probably say it's the best hip hop album ever. Honestly. That's a bold claim, but I think it's that.
I think other artists have tried to do things like this, but no one can ever achieve this. Like, look at Lil Baby, bro. the bigger picture, bro.
Why are we
You love
looping back to the
the
bigger
big
picture?
picture.
Honestly, you know what?
But you're right.
You know what's crazy is I think Kendrick including like a Kodak on his last project, bro, like just shows me how good. I mean, sorry to go back to Kodak, but shows me how good Kodak is to be able to like compete,
Go bar for bar
with an artist like this that made To Pimp a Butterfly. It's fire. Low-key, he could have been on this album too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all with the messaging. I think the Tupac tie-in at the end, of course, with his interview was great.
And you can only do that if you're really him. If you're really that,
Yeah.
there's very, very few people, maybe just him, that could have pulled that off.
He wrote an incredible verse for Snoop Dogg, or a little like 16 or whatever. Rhapsody bodied this shit. What other features are on it?
My favorite, they're not even features, but just, I already said it, but what Robert Glasper and Terrence Martin did to this project, to me, transformed the entire sound of it. And they should get all the credit in the world for how incredible this album is.
100%, man. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows about this. This is one of the best albums ever, best hip hop album ever. Shout out Kendrick. He's gonna keep doing what he's doing. This made him. I think this put him in goat territory.
Yeah, you need these and the good kids.
Yeah.
You need both to be that.
Having two undisputed top 5 hip hop albums ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are putting both of them in their top 5.
Really?
I think you pick one or the other. I don't think you can do that with an artist. Put two.
Why? They're that, but
I agree.
they're of that caliber.
I agree. They are two of the top
It's top 5
for me.
It's top 5.
As somebody that
What are you gonna debate? You put if someone said what? Reasonable Doubt, Black Album.
both of those.
No, one of the two. I'm saying one of those two. Someone's probably gonna put.
Yeah, you can take a Hove album.
You're gonna take a Wayne album. You do Carter 3.
I don't think.
You can
No,
do
I
Carter.
think there's better picks.
Carter 2 or Carter 3 are the only two you could pick.
No, I mean, you don't put a Wayne album there.
Oh,
Probably.
that's disrespectful. What, you gonna put Illmatic by Nas?
It was written.
You're not.
Aquemini.
You can put Equipment out there.
You know, there's Wu-Tang shit that I'm not privy to, but it's
No,
probably there.
Once we do that, we're reaching.
I mean, okay.
Wu-Tang is not better than Good Kid, Mad City.
I agree.
Okay, but yeah.